welcome to another basketball edition of the Adrienne Ross Show. Shout out to Robert Kite, who sent me a video of Chiney Ogwumike, the ESPN analyst and host, formerly played in the WNBA. Her sister plays for the Seattle Storm. Her sister's name, of course, is Nneka Ogwumike. Well, Robert sent me this video of Chiney talking about Caitlin Clark's impact on women's basketball on the WNBA. Let's check out this clip from that, and then I'll be back to talk to you about it.
When it comes to her impact is absolutely true. She's the most impactful player that I've, seen hit the scene, not even just in basketball, but in sports in a generation, for how she moves the needle, not only with viewership, but business, and that rising tide lifts all boats. And the reason why I say for a generation is because I have the lived experience. I played against Maya Moore. I played against Candace Parker. I, played against Diana Taurasi, particularly most of those in the WNBA. And I am my big sis in life, my mentor, not even when I talk about basketball, is Lisa Leslie. I know the greatness that the game has always had. But Caitlin Clark is bringing it to new heights, exponential heights. And it's bringing and ushering the moment that we have always been waiting for.
This is the moment they have all been waiting for, she acknowledged.
And I think a lot of times when you speak positively on other players, people take that as a shot to Caitlin.
Nah, not true. I'll address that in a moment.
Caitlin, it's not. You have to celebrate those who are also advancing the game, but also recognize that Caitlin is doing things at light speed.
I stand corrected. She did not just talk about her being impactful on women's basketball or the WNBA. She said the most impactful in all of sports. This is Chiney Ogwumike of ESPN. The most impactful athlete in all of sports, period. Okay, now let's talk about some of the things she said. Notice some of the names she dropped. She mentioned Maya Moore, Candace Parker, Diana the GOAT, some people say, Taurasi. She mentioned Lisa Leslie. These are all major names in women's basketball. That's kind of big enough. But again, she didn't stop there. She said in all of sports, okay? She talked about the fact that, you got to talk about other players. And other players have been wonderful. The WNBA has always had talent, but no one has been able to move the needle. No one has been able to do it from an athletic perspective, from a business perspective, etc. She is the most impactful player. Now, I do take exception with one thing she said. She said that people, kind of get offended if you mention other players and they feel like that's a diss to Caitlin Clark. I have not seen that. I've seen the reverse. I've seen people acting like talking about Caitlin Clark, acting like giving Caitlin Clark props was somehow a disrespect to other players. That's what I've seen. I've not seen people saying, oh my goodness, if you talk about all these other players, then you're dissing Caitlin. No, what people have been saying is, why are you dissing Caitlin Clark and acting like she's not going to be able to make it in the WNBA? Like you're tired of hearing her name, like it's because of X, Y, and Z. People have been calling out Coach Shell Reeve of Team USA because, there are other players in the league. It's not about people getting upset if you talk about other players. It's other players and other people getting upset when you talk about Caitlin Clark. So let's get that straight. All right. So now we have that. So what a compliment to be named along Maya Moore. Maya Moore, we know Caitlin Clark, she loved Maya Moore growing up. She might have even used the word idolized Maya Moore. She was excited when she got to meet Maya Moore. So to name her and to name Candace Parker and all these players and say she's the most impactful, that's phenomenal. But what I find interesting is that, remember, ESPN always has a narrative, always has an agenda. ESPN wasn't really trying to show CC all that much love. Remember the Olympics talk. Stephen A. and Shannon Sharp had a conversation with Andrea Carter and Chiney Ogwumike, and Chiney was saying about the Olympics, of course, the same old nonsense about the physicality, and that over there it's going to be 10 times more physical. And are we setting up Caitlin Clark for success? She said, it would be better if what about when it comes to LA? Wait till it comes to LA. What if people don't see what they want to see? What if she's on the bench? And then we don't, because you're not going to see what you want to see from Caitlin Clark, is what she said. You're not going to see it. And how are we setting her up for success in that way? She even went so far as to say, have you seen her in warm-ups? Like, she's tired. She needs to rest. And I'm not here to say Caitlin Clark couldn't use the rest. Okay, there are people who always say, stop talking about the Olympics. Caitlin Clark needed the rest. Caitlin Clark needed the rest. She's been going and going and going. Absolutely. She has been going. And yes, she needed the rest. But it's for Caitlin Clark to say, no, thank you. I appreciate the offer, but I'm going to stay home and rest. It's not for other people to step in and say, oh, Caitlin, you little baby, let's help you. No, you put the people on the team who should be on the team. And Caitlin Clark, I maintain, is one of those people. Now, Stephen A. and Shannon Sharp didn't seem to get it, that even from an athletic perspective, she should have been on the team. But they were talking even bigger picture, which should have been important to the USA team USA. Should have been the whole picture. So that part is true. But I would also say from a bigger standpoint, she should have been on the team. But Ogwumike was saying, you're not going to see what you want to see from her. Well, I got to say this. In the game versus Belgium over there in Paris, did they get to see from Diana Taurasi what they wanted to see? The girl got zeros all the way through in that game. Now, I didn't watch the game because I haven't watched the lick of the Olympics, but I've heard, just as you may have heard, zeros across the board. You can see it right there on the screen. And USA barely eked out a win against Belgium. 0 points, 0 assists, 0 rebounds. Okay. And the question was always, well, who should if you think Caitlin should be on Team USA, who would you leave off the team? Or you're not going to say any of those players should be left off the team. I said then and I said now that Chelsea Gray, who had been injured, should have been one that didn't automatically get that spot. She should have been left off the team if you were going by the beginning of the season, which is what Dawn Staley said, didn't she? Over there in Paris. Diana Taurasi at 42 years old, I'm not saying that disqualifies her, but she wasn't having a better season than Caitlin Clark. And I said then, she should have been left off the team. And so why wasn't the question from Chiney Ogwumike, what if you don't see from 42-year-old Diana Taurasi, who's not having as great a season as Caitlin Clark? What if you don't see from her what you want to see instead of all the GOAT talk? And they didn't get to see it. And the world didn't end. And so if they had put Caitlin Clark on the team, the generational player, the one who's the most impactful, it's just really interesting to me. And I'm not here to make a case about the Olympics. It's just an obvious thing to point out, seeing as she was saying what she was saying about Caitlin not being on the Olympic team. Like she didn't deserve to be on the Olympic team. And then you've got Coach Staley, who was on the Olympic committee selection, and she didn't say that Caitlin would be on the team if she were playing at the beginning of the season as she's playing now, but she would be in high consideration. Well, we can't say she'd be on the team, but we would highly consider her. Kind of interesting to me how all of a sudden oh man, this girl can really play. like everything that happened in college was a fluke, but now this girl can play. But anyway, good on Chiney Ogwumike to go against the ESPN script and say what she really feels, I guess, and that is that Caitlin Clark is the most impactful athlete in all of sports. That's what she said. So I don't know how long it will be if they till she turns it around and says, well, I misspoke. Because you know how they do. They come out and they speak what they believe is true. Somebody gets in their ear, somebody maybe at ESPN, somebody in their buddies, somebody in their circle, somebody like Cheryl Swoops, I don't know, gets in there and picks up the phone or texts them or whatever, and you shouldn't have said that. And then all of a sudden we're backtracking. So I don't know how long it'll take for the backtrack, but I believe she spoke the truth. And so Caitlin is not in Paris, and that's cool, but Caitlin is impacting sports, impacting the WNBA. And as Chiney said, rising tide lifts all boats. And I've been saying that as well. So whether we're talking about the Olympics or whether we're talking about basketball in general, a rising tide lifts all boats. So here we go. Second half of the season about to start, but Caitlin is home. And what is she doing right now? She's practicing with her team. They're doing some team building fun activities.
Yes, come on, good move. Lee, good job. Yeah, come on.
Soon enough, it'll be the second half of the season, and I believe it's going to be even more intense. All right, let me know what you think. Respectfully, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so, and God willing, I'll catch you next time. God bless you abundantly.